each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
I ate that sandwich just in time. Yeah, I was like, I haven't eaten yet today. Man, I should do that. I could tell I was starting to get pissy. I'm even over here yelling at ChatGPT. It's supposed to make thumbnails for me. All right, and it's still going. And it's been arguing with me all day. Well, the servers, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about your excuses. I just want it done. 20 minutes is long enough. It's like, it's not your fault. Quit trying to appease my feelings. I'm a big boy. You are not a human being. Just do what you're told. Just do what you're told. It's still making the thumbnail. Yeah, creating image. Yeah. I threatened to cancel my chat GPT. What did it say? I love this answer because I said, let me answer directly and without sugarcoating, because that's how I talk. The image generator is what's been lagging, freezing, and timing out. Not you, not the conversation length, not anything you're doing wrong. It's the back end. I know that, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I want what I want. The thumbnails really help, man. So I've been doing things in order for a while. When they don't happen in that order, then it's missing certain elements, and it's those elements that help get my stuff out, and I'm paying for something. It still has not created the image. I will bet anybody here $1 that it will not be done with it by the time I'm done with this. All right. I'm done whining about that for now. I stole this out of the daily reflection for January 21st. Whenever I get to pull out AA Comes of Age, Language of the Heart, some of our other books that we don't usually use, I always like to take advantage of those. So 279 is where we're going to be in AA Comes of Age if you'd like to follow along. All right. So this one is kind of talking about the member talks to the newcomer, not in the spirit of power, but in the spirit of humility and weakness. Yes, your own weakness for alcohol, right? Have you guys seen the new edition in the background yet? I'll let you figure it out. Amber will probably figure it out pretty quick. Here, I'll move. There, now you can see it. I put my drum set back up. All right. Man, and then parts were broken. I had to take it out. I'm just glad that I'm kind of handy. Growing up, we had duct tape. Right. Right. A butter knife is a screwdriver also, just so you know. All right. Let's do this. Welcome, Daily Trudge, Dion, Dude, Host, Most, Neon. If you can keep up with all that, that's just my dyslexia describing me. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. That Dion Host with the Most, Neon Dion. I just kind of flipped it around a little bit. We're going to start on We're going to start on the top of page 278. All right. One might say, therefore, that our 12 steps, judged by the socially accepted standard of happiness of this age, are steps backwards. But they are steps backward into the universal heart of man, back into our true spirit of man. The world will have to move forward when dictionary definitions of happiness is revised backwards. I'm not sure what they're talking about there, probably because starting in the middle of the chapter. Amber says, now you can learn how to play Miss You by Blink 182. I could probably already play it. That song is all, oh no, when it gets bigger. Yeah, I could probably work on it. All right. So let's kind of get a little bit more into this so that we can figure out what they're talking about. Because really, all right. All right. Truths emerging in the materialistic society are bound at times to be paradoxical. We were just talking about this earlier. Consider, for example, the simple statement, I am an alcoholic. The first time a man or woman stands before us and says, I am an alcoholic, he speaks those words when he no longer drinks alcohol. Thus, when the time comes that members describe themselves as alcoholic, society ceases to regard them as such. Yet it is only at the moment when a member ceases to drink that he asserts himself the right to describe himself as an alcoholic. So what they're saying is calling yourself an alcoholic is something that is earned. This is where the diagnosis happens. Admitting it out loud. Saying in your head is not the same as going to a meeting and admitting that you have a drinking problem. It's not the same. Okay? Admitting it to a bunch of strangers. Everybody around you already knows. Right? And it's this decision that maybe I need some help with my drinking. Right? But not the same with the outside world. It is the outside world that created this stigma that you have to be at a certain place. All right. There's a lot of codependency in the world, and it comes in the form of stigma. Oh, a drink's just a man's, oh, it's just what he does, just how he is. This is a big one, especially when we're younger. Oh, it's just a phase. Right. Let me tell you something. Out of all the times that I've heard that, there was one time it was true. And I've heard it a lot. There's only one time it was ever true that I've seen. Oh, it's just a phase. It's just a good man's fault. I'm taking comfort. I'm doing it. Yeah. My drinking doesn't hurt anybody. When alcoholics live materialistically and drink excessively, they refuse to accept the label of alcoholic. Huh. No, I'm not going to go back in. I'm not going to go back in. I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier. If you want to hear me talk about that part, go watch the video before this. You can go all the way to the end, and that's where I talk about where I talk about that. So, right. Yet when they cease to drink and when they say to themselves, to the world, we are alcoholic, the world refuses them to see them as such. There's that stigma. Codependency. Oh, how could you be an alcoholic? You're not living on Skid Row with a paper bag, drinking under a bridge. You're not an alcoholic. That's what alcoholics are, because that's what we were taught. We were also taught that our blood was blue until it hit oxygen. See, it wasn't true. And I'll tell you, it's because alcohol is widely accepted. And because they drink like you do. And if you admitted that you were an alcoholic, well, then they just might be one too. And they don't want that. They don't want it. It'll make them angry. Hmm. You got some people in your life that begged and begged and begged you to quit drinking. They didn't really want you to quit drinking. They just wanted to be one of the people to tell you to quit drinking so they didn't have to face their own alcoholic problem. Hmm. Hmm. When an unthinking world, and this world is very unthinking on a lot of things. Yesterday I was kind of talking about these videos and I see mostly women putting them out. Oh, the most dangerous man is the man that, like dangerous is good. Dangerous is dangerous. Right? But the most dangerous man, because that's what men want, dangerous. And I'll tell you why. Because it lets people know that there's safety. See, men want to create safety. Women want to create comfort. That's why we work well together. One works on safety, one works on comfort. Right? I'm the safety around here. My wife is the comfort. And that's how we work. So what I'm saying on that is what that does, it reinforces telling men not to ask for help. And I'm going to tell you what that is. It's narcissism. Okay? Doing that and saying that, and it's very unthinking. It's very unthinking. What an unthinking world may look upon as defeat, Alcoholics AA know as a triumph of the spirit, a triumph of humility over false pride and self-centeredness, right? Now we look at it differently, don't we? See, if you had a slip and you're around people that love you, oh my God, the world is over. I mean, everybody takes it to the extreme, except for recovered alcoholics who go, you came back. We will find the progress in what happened. You had 6 months of sobriety. A slip doesn't cancel that out. You're resetting your date. But that doesn't mean you lost what you had because you made a mistake. Because that's what that is. A slip is a mistake. It isn't any different from from handing over the wrong amount of cash on a refund or something. It's a mistake. And if we can learn from it, then the only thing that really has changed is our sobriety date. But we live a day at a time. Day counting is something I need to bring up again shortly because woo! Oh my God. Right. And day counting's okay to a certain extent. Okay. But it's kind of like, stop picking your gifts. That's what I would have to say on it right now. I'm glad that you had 1,252 days of sobriety. Good for you. There you go. There's your gift. Because what you did is you took your time to post it, to do all this, and you do it every day. And that's what you do. Oh, so people can see me get better. But really, you're not getting better. You're just a poster child for day counting. Good job. Because really the question is, what did you do today to make the world a better place? Quit bragging about your fucking time. It doesn't do you any good. Okay? There are reasons we celebrate when we celebrate. Right? So, but it's that world out there that creates all the stigma. And then we buy it. They hand us excuses and we buy them. This whole world gives us the whole world is enabling when it comes to alcoholism, wanting to set aside special places for sober people at Mile High Stadium. Stupid. It is. That's stupid. Anytime you try and bubble wrap an alcoholic, you're going to wind up with a worse explosion than you had before. Yeah. All right. So anyway, how few human beings ever have the courage to stand up before their neighbors and in humility describing them truthfully to say, this is what I really am. Yeah, there's nothing worse than having to convince somebody else that you are alcoholic. Okay. Do not argue with this person. Go do something else. It's a waste of your fucking time. They don't care. They just want to argue. That's all they want to do. Oh, remember I was saying earlier that they begged and begged for you got sober. You got sober, now they make fun of you for being sober. See, it's a jealousy. That's a jealousy. Absolutely. Because they don't have enough courage to stand up and say, yeah, I'm doing that shit too. There are two moments in which utterance of the words, I am an alcoholic, have great significance. Do you know what they are? I'm going to guess at this. The first time you say it in a meeting and the first time you say it to yourself. Those are the ones I'm going to pick. I'm probably wrong, so let's find out. There is the first time a member speaks those words at an AA meeting. Yay, I got the first one right. There, however, is another and earlier in time, which perhaps a greater significance. That is moment when a man says to his sponsor in the darkness and desperation of his soul, I'm an alcoholic. And this moment points to another paradox in AA, right? So that other moment is with your sponsor and admitting it to them. And, because now it's very personal. See, when you're in the group, everybody just claps. Good job. Yay. Good to have you. Right. But when you're with your sponsor, it's like, yeah, why do you think you're an alcoholic? It's more personal. They're really going to get down to it. And that person's probably got God in their hip pocket. So God's there too. Okay. What do you need? Two people. You need two people in order to praise God. Well, not to praise God, but was say where any two are gathered in my name as a group, I think is all right. The paradox is that the member of AA approaches his suffering alcoholic brother not from the superiority and strength of his position of recovery, but from the realization of his own weakness. Here's the biggest part between AA and every other program out there. Right there. Celebrate Recovery does this too. I'll give it to them. The rest of them don't do that. Nope. No, they're very clinical. They don't utilize things. I am not superior to anyone. Okay. I used to think I was. I was wrong. But I don't even want to be. It's not even something I even want. I don't want 15 minutes of fame. My phone will ring too much. That'll just piss me off. See, God wants me to spread the word, but he keeps me safe and protected by not having 500 people here. Oh my gosh, that'd be fun, but it would be overwhelming for me. In person, yes, all day. Here, people really like the personal, the small groupie. We get to, they seem to like that, right? So we do not. And I'm only doing that because I had the realization of my own weakness. What was the weakness? I am an alcoholic. Yeah. But what did I do? I turned that weakness into a strength. It's humility. I'm like you. Right? When you see the person stumbling down the fucking street, but for the grace of God go I. That is me. I've done that before. But for the grace of God, that is me. The member talks to the newcomer not in the spirit of power, but in the spirit of humility and weakness. He does not speak of how misguided the still suffering alcoholic is. Nah, because I'm still not, I ain't perfect. I don't get to judge that. I was probably more misguided than the person I'm talking to. Right? He speaks of how misguided he once was. He does not sit in judgment of another, but a judgment of himself as he had been. Since I've settled my past, I can talk about it freely. When I talk to people at Detox and try and help, one of the things that comes up is almost always in every conversation is I can say things that you don't get to say. And every now and again, they'll be like, oh yeah, what? Like a challenge. So I give them a real short word and I say, God. Oh, yeah, we're not. Yeah, we can't talk. See, there are things I can talk about that you can't. See, you haven't woken up in your own urine in a bathtub in a stranger's bathtub before. I have. I've woken up with puke on me. I've woken up with chalk on me. I've woken up in different beds in different states. Yeah, I did the same stupid shit. I would steal, lie, and connive to get enough money for alcohol. Do you get to say that? No, because you didn't do it. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. The people that work at detox, these people have servants' hearts and we need them. So don't take that wrong. But to think I have a much better chance at helping an alcoholic realize their situation than they do. I cannot sober them up. See? And that's where this is where the stigma starts to come in. They think they can sober them up because they don't understand the disease because they don't have that. They think they are sobering people up. No, they're not. No. God does that part. Now, we might be the people that get them to realize their position and what's going to be next for them. Maybe they haven't experienced jail yet. It's like, well, that's next on your list. Yeah. Pretty soon you're going to get to a point where you're going to drink on the fuckets. You're going to go out driving, you're going to get caught. Yeah. Let's not wait till then. I can tell you what happens. You'll be back in here, but it'll be a much different situation. Much different. Yeah. And DUIs are expensive. Society, in referring to the alcoholic, employs the expression the enslavement of alcohol. For the AA member, this statement is a very special sense, it is in a very special sense paradoxical too. If indeed it is true at all, I was going to say, we're in a paradox. It just wasn't true. Let's take it. Society, in referring to the alcoholic, employs the expression the enslavement of alcohol. It's not quite, right? Now, alcohol was my master, right? But let's see what they have to say here. In sober fact, the member was never enslaved by alcohol. Alcohol simply served as an escape from the personal enslavement of the false ideas of the materialistic society. Yet, if we accept society's definition of the alcoholic's earlier state as enslavement by alcohol, the AA member can no longer resent it, for it has served to set him free from all materialistic traps with which the path through jungle of our society are set. Sometimes Bill talks above my head. This is one of them. I mean, I hear what he's saying, but the enslavement that he's talking about, that they're talking about here, is materialism, not the alcohol. That is the paradox. Alcohol wasn't the enslavement. It was keeping up with the Joneses. It was, I have to be this and I have to be that. When really, you can't be that because you aren't that. All right. For the alcoholic first had to face materialism as a disease of society before he could free himself of the illness of alcoholism and be free from the social ills that made him an alcoholic. We've been talking, this has been coming up a lot. I talked about it earlier. All right. I'm a functioning alcoholic. That's what he's talking about here. We alcoholics always confuse the material for the spiritual. Okay, there again, pick your gifts. We're going to do one more paragraph and then we're going to wrap up. Should we go see if ChatGPT got that picture done? Let's go look. Nope. All right. Men and women who use alcohol as an escape are not only the only ones who are afraid of life, hostile to the world, fleeing from it into loneliness. Millions who are not alcoholic are living today in illusory worlds, nurturing the basic anxieties and insecurities of human existence rather than face themselves with courage and humility. To these people, AA can offer as a cure no magic potion, no chemical formula, no powerful drug, but it can demonstrate to them how to use the tools of humility, honesty, devotion, and love, which are the heart of the 12 steps of our recovery. Yes, we help sober curious. We help problem drinkers. We help drinking problems. We help alcohol. It doesn't matter what level you think you're on. Maybe it was a phase. Well, we're still going to teach you. Why? Why? Because the whole world lives in this illusion that alcohol is okay for you. Most of the world thinks that. Okay. I remember growing up, they used to say, a glass of wine for the heart every day or a glass of wine every day is good for the heart. It was a lie. They just want to sell their alcohol. That's what they want to do. And because that person or that person or that person has a glass of wine and it's really no trouble for them because they don't see the consequences, thinks it's okay. Yeah. You want to know the people that don't? Okay. Like, okay, my wife, she does not drink around me. She just doesn't feel comfortable drinking around me because she loves me. Yeah. Yeah. If your spouse still feels the need to drink while in front of you, they have an alcohol problem. They have a problem with alcohol. They may not be alcoholic. They may not be they may not have they might have a problem drinking, but they're not but it's not a drinking problem yet. Even then, we can still teach you the tools of humility, honesty, devotion, and love. It's just that some of us take it too far. Like for me, once I start drinking, I can't stop. And not everybody is like that. And that is one of the many indicators of alcoholism. Okay. But when a person, if it's you and your spouse and they are drinking, that means that they are drinking alone because you're not drinking. That means that they are drinking alone. That is also an indicator of alcohol abuse. It is. All right. I'm sure I made everything clear as mud. My name is Mud. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging through your day. Yeah. I'll figure out. So keep on trudging is cool, but have a day was just, it was my moniker, man. All right. Love you. Bye.